Welcome back to the channel, and with the launch of Modern Warfare 2 coming up at the end of October, I thought I'd share some footage with you from the beta, and this is Invasion mode. I had a lot of fun playing this mode. I tried to do some things outside the multiplayer, and this mode grabbed me and had a lot of fun, played a lot of games. So we're going to have a look at it today. I'll tell you what it's all about, and then I'm going to share some feedback on the beta that I've got that I didn't put in my original review. Hope you're going to enjoy it. Let's do it! So here we go, Invasion mode. This is a war, a massive chaotic battle with a mix of players and AI fighting alongside each other and against each team. And you can see the size of the teams are 20 teams, 2 teams, 40 max players on huge maps, and it's basically just the first person that gets to a score of 1500 by eliminating the opposition team members that wins. Pretty simple game mode, and it's just like urban warfare basically, and just a huge amount of fun. We're going to take you through one of my gameplays today. We'll show you some very bad sniping, because this is the first game I picked up the sniper in actual fact, and I run with a SCAR and a sniper in my loadout. And so I do very badly at sniping. I haven't done a lot of sniping in Call of Duty, to be honest, and yeah, it pretty much shows here. As you can see, we're watching some footage now, but yeah, why not? I thought I'd just have some fun. When I'm running into a beta and when I'm doing a beta review or trying to figure out what game modes I'm going to like for the full version of the game, I tend to just try all kinds of guns. There's no penalty in doing it. None of the stats carry through into the full game, so why not have some fun and see what guns work for you and what weapons and what configurations and perks and everything. So we'll talk a lot about that today, and I'll talk about my feelings on not only this mode but the beta overall. So the first thing to notice, if you notice down in that left hand corner, there is my name right in the bottom, and then there's 3 other names there. Now what this does, even though you're in a group or a team of 20, it splits you into 5 squads of 4. So if you want to play with your friends, this would be a great mode. Another 3 friends. If you've got 3 friends, you get another 3 friends together and you can run as a squad, which I think is a really cool. You get 5 points for killing an enemy, and you get 1 point for killing an AI bot. And there's a lot of AI bots in this game, and I'm not sure why. It makes it a little bit confusing, to be honest, but you get used to it. I don't know why they've got AI bots. Maybe because the maps are so big, and the maps are very big. This one's based on the US-Mexican border, and it just plays absolutely fantastic. I had so much fun on this map. It's probably my favourite map of all the maps that we played. I'm sorry I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, this is a fantastic map, and you're going to see with the gameplay as we go through. Just I'll try and cover as much of this map as possible to let you see what it looks like. So as far as the weapons I'm using, initially what I start off with is there was only 1 sniper in the game, and I didn't pay enough attention to know what the sniper was called, but I've got a sniper on. I just pulled a sniper class out. I think it was one of the presets, and I've got this kind of adapted 9mm pistol as my secondary. Now, as I said, later as I got used to this game mode, and this is probably 2nd or 3rd game I'd played in the Invasion playlist, as I got used to this game, I started to figure out that I could run overkill, and therefore I would run a sniper as a secondary, and then a SCAR type AR as my primary, and that changed up the game a lot. I got a lot more kills doing that, but for this gameplay, still experimenting. I still suck as a sniper. I openly admit that. Don't usually snipe in Call of Duty, and there's a very good reason for that. But hey, why not? Give it a go. And you would have seen by some of the footage, there are ammunition refills all over the map. So if you do run out of bullets, and I did when I went on a couple of streaks, you need to find those ammunition refill spots. All your score streaks from the multiplayer, if you got your setup set up for the multiplayer, work on this mode. So pretty much you can either do another custom loadout for invasion, like I did, or you can just use your whatever loadouts you've already made for multiplayer with the score streaks on them, etc. And yeah, a lot of fun. Now you will note that when you kill a real person as opposed to an AI bot, their name will come up on the screen as a kind of red bar, and you get 5 points. One of the things that I do not like about this particular mode and the way that they've structured Modern Warfare 2 in general is the fact that there are no nameplates or no indications on the enemy players that they're actually enemies. A lot of the skins a lot of the operator skins that they're using are very, very similar, and a lot of the time it's very confusing whether you should shoot somebody or not. And if you're a teammate of mine, you're going to get shot a lot because I'm not taking any chances. The other thing that is happening, it was happening in this mode, and it happened in the team deathmatch and domination and whatnot, hardpoint, is that your teammate's nameplate will overlay a lot onto the enemy player, so it actually looks like the enemy player is one of your teammates, because the nameplate, the blue nameplate, is bleeding through. And yeah, that's very confusing. They need to do something about that. It's just, this is not a new problem to Call of Duty, let me tell you. We've been here before multiple times. It's not the first time, it's multiple times that we've had this issue with name tags in a Call of Duty game, where it will bleed through, or you'll be able to see it through walls or through surfaces, and it makes it look like your enemy is actually on your team. And it's a huge problem. It is a huge problem. You're talking about a game where you are making split-second decisions whether to shoot, raise your gun, etc. And you get used to training your eyes and your brain into glancing at somebody, and if you can see a teammate's name tag, you're not going to shoot them, you're going to keep running. And that happened to me multiple times during the 2 weeks of the beta, and it's hugely frustrating. It shouldn't be a problem. Not now, not in 2022, not after this problem has been identified and fixed multiple times in multiple Call of Duty games. It's just, it ruins the flow of the game, and it ruins the experience. And I'd really implore Infinity Ward to actually just bite the bullet and put the name tags back on your enemies, or have some kind of distinguisher so that we know it's an enemy. It's not hard, guys, seriously. And it's lots of little stuff like that is going to mean that people are going to switch off of this game real quick if they're not close. And if you're not aware, Modern Warfare and Activision and Infinity Ward for the first time ever have changed the cycle of Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2, the 2022 version, will be here for 2 years. Yeah, you heard that right. The title usually changes every year. This year they're changing the cycle to 2 years. So this is the game we will be playing for the next 2 years. And there's lots of little, very niggly stuff that they have in the game that if they only listen to the community and just, tweak them a little bit or come up with an alternative, that will make this game a really big success, in my opinion. So we're moving on to our second map here, and this is a map called Syed, and it's like it's quite an interesting map, this one. It's got lots of lanes and a lot of buildings, but there's a funfair on the kind of right hand side of the map from the position we're coming from here, but it's a lot of close quarters. But the beauty about Invasion is it does prompt and does encourage a whole lot of different play styles. You can play the game however you like. You can sit back and snipe, or you can get into it, you can do some close quarter stuff, and really have a little bit of fun. Or you can vary your playstyle between the two, and that's what I tend to do. Maybe run and gun for a while and then slow down. Do some strategic stuff and then run and gun for a little bit longer. And I tried all kinds of playstyles to try and figure out what the best way approaching this game mode was over the second weekend. And yeah, that makes it interesting and fun to play a game, in my opinion anyway. Now, one of the things that Infinity Ward did say during their game launch, or the next event, and if you're not aware of that next event, it was basically they launched Modern Warfare 2, or just before the beta dropped for the first week. They invited a whole lot of CDL Pro players and streamers and Twitch content creators to a huge event, and they let them have early access to the game. Now, here's what they said in that in how they wanted the game to function this year, and it's very important you hear this because I want to give you what actually happened in the beta as a comparison.
You know, when you come into making a sequel, it can be kind of tricky. You know, what do you keep from the previous game? What do you get rid of? And where can you add new things in and not mess up this kind of nicely balanced ecosystem that we had? And so we came up with a few methods. One of them being player behaviors. And I say behaviors and not play styles. I think a lot of people will say play styles, but that can kind of change during a match. But behaviors are more ingrained in how players play. And we just put them into three big groups. We call them rushers, which are just aggressive players. They just want to find the action and go. And then we have sentinels, and these are defensive players. They want to just kind of hold down a building, maybe keep a little overwatch. And then we have stalkers, which are reactive, and they kind of hang back and try to read the field and read where spawns are. And really, we just kind of use these as filters to keep us honest with the content that we're making. So that we're making enough toys and equipment for players to be successful playing our game.
So here Infinity Ward and the developers from Infinity Ward talk about how they want to encourage different playstyles. And they're talking specifically about multiplayer. And they want to encourage different playstyles in the game, or at least he said player behavior. I don't know what the difference quite is, I couldn't quite work that one out, but player behavior in the game. However, the multiplayer and what they presented us with limits the playstyles, in my opinion, a huge amount. And the reason it limits the playstyles, number one, there are no name tags on your enemies, so sometimes it's hard to decipher who's who. And as you're seeing through the footage, you'll see it multiple times during the footage I'm showing you. It makes it hard to decipher. The way that the perk system is set up, we have no counter to the very, very loud footstep audio that they have in this game. Now, to their credit, Infinity Ward have come out and said that they are looking into that fairly seriously, and that footstep audio will be adjusted. And for the second week of the beta, they did adjust that slightly. But for those of you who don't play a lot of multiplayer and wonder why footstep audio is a problem, it's basically encouraging people to sit in corners and wait for players rather than move around the map. And I'm an aggressive player, and I got caught out a number of times in the second week of the beta because people were just sitting in corners. Now, I've seen a number of different content creators who deliberately went out of their way to not move from a spot, and see how that differed from rushing around the map. And yeah, you do not get rewarded as much for rushing around the map as you do sitting in a corner and sitting in one place, or lying down on your stomach and waiting for players to come to you. And yeah, I get that is a strategy in the game, but it's kind of cheesy. It's kind of cheap, in my opinion. But there again, I like aggressive style of play. And you have the developers there saying they want you to play aggressive if that's the way you want to play it, but they're not giving you the tools to do it. So footstep audio, there isn't really a counter except for dead silence. However, dead silence is not a perk, it's a field upgrade, so it's not something that you can put on 100% of the time. And so, yeah, you have to recharge dead silence before you can run around the map. So basically, what they're encouraging you to do is sit in a corner for a little bit of time until dead silence charges up, and then you can activate it and go running around. But there is a problem. When you activate dead silence, there's a noise that sounds like you're going through a security point at an airport to tell everybody in the map, hey, there's somebody with dead silence close to you, just activated it. All this kind of stuff, and it is reasonably small stuff that could be changed and fixed. But why is it in the game? It just ruins the flow of the game, and I just don't get it. I don't get why the developers of this game think that that is a good idea to set up the game the way it is. And this is really about having the tools in place to encourage different player behaviour stroke player styles. And if you want to play in a certain manner, you can, and you have the tools to do that. But if somebody's opposing you and they want to sit on a rooftop or in a corner, they have the tools also to counter your playstyle. Now, that's all I'm about, is have a balanced number of perks or whatever it might be, name tags on players, red dots on the minimap, whatever it might be, so that it encourages all different playstyles. They are saying it in their official launch. They want to encourage different playstyles and different player behaviour. Will give us the proper tools to be able to do that. Anyway guys, invasion mode is a lot of fun. Sorry I ranted on a little bit. I could go on all day with this, but I'm not going to. It will kind of ruin the flow. I hope you've enjoyed this little look-see at invasion. It is, if you want to play with your mates, something that I'd encourage you to do if you're a Call of Duty player and you're looking at buying Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare in a lot of respects is very similar to Modern Warfare 2019. They have tweaked a lot of things. In some ways they've improved the game. In some ways I think they've gone backwards a little bit. And you as community members, it's very important that you make your voice heard and you tell Activision and Infinity Ward exactly what game you want to do, and that's what this video is about as well, is giving constructive feedback. It's not a hater video in any shape or form. It's just, I love the game, I'm passionate about this game, I've played it for many years. I know what I personally like in a Call of Duty game, I know what I don't like. And so, yeah, it's disappointing in the last 3 or 4 years how this game has actually started to go. In the second week of the beta, it was like they cranked the skill-based matchmaking up to about 11, and so as a little bit more of a skilled player, you feel punished by that, and it actually discourages you from buying their game, and that's the sad thing. That's a sad thing. I wouldn't want to see people being discouraged away from Call of Duty. It's a fantastic shooter game. If you haven't tried it before, I highly encourage you to do so. But be ready for a little bit of a very steep learning curve. But once you start improving at the game, you'll get a lot of pleasure and a lot of hours of gameplay out of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments. A like rating is always appreciated. We'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya.